It was supposed to be the happiest night of her life, an extravagant engagement party celebrating her future. But instead, it became the night that ended it all. This is the chilling tale of Elizabeth Harrington, the wealthy heiress who vanished into the shadows and never came back alive. Elizabeth Harrington had it all, or so it seemed. She was the only child of William Harrington, a wealthy real estate magnate, and a fixture in the town's elite social circles. At just 28, she was known for her poise, her beauty, and the glamorous life she portrayed. Her engagement to Michael Crawford, a young and ambitious entrepreneur, was the talk of the town, celebrated with a lavish party at the Harrington family estate. But no one could have foreseen that this glittering event would end in tragedy. The night of Elizabeth's engagement party started like a scene from a movie. Guests arrived in sleek black cars, stepping out in tailored suits and shimmering gowns. The Harrington estate, an enormous mansion surrounded by manicured gardens, was a vision of opulence. Inside, a live band played soft jazz, and servers weaved through the crowd with trays of champagne and hors d'oeuvres. Elizabeth, in a stunning white gown, was the center of attention. But not everyone noticed how distracted she seemed. A few guests later recalled her stealing nervous glances toward the doors and frequently checking her phone. To most, it was a detail too small to matter. By midnight, Elizabeth was gone. When Elizabeth didn't appear for the final toast of the night, some assumed she had slipped away to rest or have a quiet moment with Michael. But as the hours passed, her absence grew suspicious. The Harrington family contacted the police the following morning, and a search began. Days later, a hiker found Elizabeth's body in the woods less than a mile from the estate. She had been strangled. Her engagement ring, broken into 2 pieces, lay near her. Nearby, carved into a tree, was a strange symbol, a circle intersected by 2 jagged lines. The town was shaken. Elizabeth's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a puzzle. The press latched onto the story, dubbing her the vanishing heiress. The Harrington estate became a circus of journalists, investigators, and townsfolk eager for answers. The police zeroed in on 4 suspects. First was Michael, Elizabeth's fiancé. On paper, their relationship seemed perfect, but rumors quickly surfaced about his financial troubles. Michael's startup company was reportedly failing, and some wondered if he had hoped to marry into wealth as a way to save himself. Then there was Laura Simmons, Elizabeth's best friend since childhood. They were inseparable for years, but something had changed recently. Friends whispered about a falling out between the 2 women, with some suggesting jealousy as the cause. Could their friendship have turned deadly? The third suspect was John Mills, the family's groundskeeper. Quiet and reclusive, John had worked at the Harrington estate for years, but had a criminal record for burglary in his youth. He was seen near the woods on the night of the party and couldn't fully account for his whereabouts. Finally, there was the Montrose family, the Harringtons' bitter rivals. Their estate bordered the Harrington property, and their feud dated back decades. Some believed they had the most to gain from Elizabeth's death, especially if it cast a shadow over the Harrington legacy. As investigators combed through Elizabeth's belongings, they discovered a diary hidden in the back of her wardrobe. In it, she detailed a secret she had uncovered about her father, a secret that could destroy his reputation. She wrote of her hesitation to reveal it, fearing it would ruin her family. The last entry read, "Secrets buried will always surface." The discovery of the diary shifted the investigation. Was Elizabeth's murder tied to the Harrington family's business dealings? Or was the diary a red herring, pointing investigators in the wrong direction? Police reviewed Keck footage from the estate. The last known image of Elizabeth showed her walking alone toward the woods at 11:47 p.m. She wasn't running or panicked, she seemed calm. Then, inexplicably, the footage cut off. The timing was suspicious, but the estate's security company claimed it was a technical glitch. Investigators weren't convinced. The suspect's alibis quickly unraveled. Michael claimed to have been mingling with guests all night, but several attendees reported not seeing him after 11:30 p.m. Laura told police she had gone to bed early, but a server claimed to have seen her walking toward the woods shortly after midnight. John, the groundskeeper, admitted to working late near the edge of the estate but denied seeing Elizabeth. The Montroses, meanwhile, offered little cooperation, their lawyer insisting they had no involvement. Then came the forensic breakthrough. Traces of a rare chemical found on Elizabeth's engagement ring matched a pesticide used by John in his gardening work. Police brought him in for questioning, and the media jumped to conclusions, painting John as the likely killer. But John stuck to his story, insisting he was innocent. The evidence against him was circumstantial. and investigators couldn't make the charges stick. Weeks passed with no new leads. The case seemed destined to go cold until a local reporter, Megan Price, began digging deeper. Megan wasn't convinced by the official narrative and started interviewing party guests and staff. One of the servers mentioned overhearing an argument between Elizabeth and Michael earlier that night. Another recalled seeing Laura slip something into her bag during the party. Megan's persistence paid off when she obtained a copy of the estate's security logs. The technical glitch in the sect footage coincided with a manual override. Someone had deliberately cut the feed. The logs showed that Laura's access code was used to disable the cameras. With this new evidence, police brought Laura in for questioning. At first, she denied everything, but under pressure, her story crumbled. Laura confessed that she and Michael had been working together. Michael had confided in Laura about his financial troubles, and the two concocted a plan to blackmail Elizabeth. When Elizabeth refused to comply, they panicked. On the night of the party, Laura lured Elizabeth into the woods under the guise of needing to talk. Michael was waiting. When Elizabeth threatened to go to the police, Michael strangled her in a fit of rage. Laura carved the symbol into the tree to mislead investigators and planted the engagement ring to frame John. They then cut the sect footage to cover their tracks. The evidence against Michael and Laura was overwhelming. Both were arrested and later convicted of Elizabeth's murder. Michael received a life sentence, while Laura, who cooperated with investigators, was sentenced to 25 years. The Harrington family never fully recovered from the tragedy, and the town remained haunted by the case for years. But at least one mystery was solved. The vanishing heiress had not disappeared without a trace. Her killers were brought to justice, ensuring her story would never be forgotten.